The Club Report Generator Designer provides you with the ability to create your own custom reports, which can later be launched directly within the Report Finder. These reports focus on specific data that can help you best serve your members. You can create as many reports as you like, pulling information from over 1,000 codes within the database. A custom report can be created by navigating to Club Management, Reports, and Report Gen Design, where you can go ahead and select your club code. Note that it may take a moment to load all the code designs. To create a new report, select Another Report Design. Alternatively, you can select an existing report, which will display when that report was last used and when it was last edited. Let's go ahead and create a new report. From here, we're going to fill out the following information. For the report code, we want to enter a short code name for the report. Now, it is suggested to put your initials at the beginning of the code if a lot of staff will be utilizing this program, so you can easily locate your reports. Then you have your title, where you can enter a descriptive name for the report, which will appear at the top of the page when printing or viewing the report, as well as in the F2 lookup window beside the report code. The Sorted By field allows you to select a code to sort the report by. Common codes that are used include A01 for member number, and the program will default to this if you do not add anything, or A03 for surname. You can also use the F2 lookup list and select your code from here. Then you have totals, which can give you valuable information on member totals that are in each of the groups you have sorted by. This will only be helpful if you sort by groups, for example activities or categories. So your options include No, do not include subtotals. Yes will give you a total of everything you sorted by. Example member status will give you a total for each type of status, such as active and resigned. And Only will give you one total for each column, not subtotals. The report generator is similar to a spreadsheet using rows, which tell you what is going to display in each column, and columns, which tell you what order the data will be displayed in. There are 30 columns available for your design, and the number of rows is controlled by the data you choose. You may choose to bring over a sample report at the bottom of the screen to copy specific columns into your new report. This is a good way to see how a change to a report will appear without making the change to the original report. There are over 2,500 codes available to choose from when designing a report, depending on the modules your club has, and the list will continue to grow. The codes are separated into type of data. To add fields to the report, you have a few options. The first option is to click on the 3 dots beside the data field to bring up the code list. More common fields include title, name, surname, and member status. And you can go ahead and double-click on the code you'd like to add. Another option is to click anywhere in that blank field and click the F2 lookup list. So let's add surname. Now just note that when you do add your columns, the scroll bar will move to the right. So we're just going to scroll over to the left to see all of our existing columns. The third option is to use the list on the left-hand side of the screen, where you can go ahead and expand the subsections to find the information you're looking for. Then we'll go ahead and click and drag that field into the report. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple more fields. And you can also click the F2 button to bring up the word search. So we'll go ahead and put the age of the member. And the last column I want to input here is birthday. So for our example, in this video, we're going to go ahead and make a birthday report. As you fill in your columns, you just want to point out what each one of these rows stands for. The data field will contain the report generator code for the information you would like to extract from your database. The code letter is usually associated with a module. So for example, A is associated with member demographics. The format determines how numbers will be presented, and you can use the F2 lookup list in that field to view more formats. NA is used for non-numeric columns, and most of the numeric codes default to C1, which is a basic 2-decimal format. Number of characters determines how wide the column will be. The total of all the characters in each column will control the width of your report. There are a default number of characters for each code. However, you may increase or decrease this number based on the type of data you are using. Keep in mind that extra characters for spacing between the columns should be included when you are designing your column. Heading 1 and 2 are what are printed on the first and second lines of the column header. If you do not like the description that is used with the default, you may change it. Lastly is calculation, which is used when the column needs to be based on a calculation or a data element. This line can also be used to provide more conditions for select report codes, or to condition certain data codes with specific parameters, including the following. If using any of these codes, the 3 dots will be added to the cell, similar to the data row, and allow you to add a filter. If @CA, you can also insert calculations into your field. Here are some examples. Now let's move on to conditions. Conditions allow you to filter the report with what must be or not be included, allowing you to add up to 4 different rows. The conditions that are used do not have to be on the report layout page, and the condition doesn't have to be printed. For example, you can have only members over the age of 65 appear on the report. You do not have to have the age or birth date on the report layout page, just within the conditions. Note that you cannot make a condition on a Y sales reporting category code or S search code. To set a condition, first start by choosing your data by using the F2 lookup list. This will access the same report generator code listing as in the report layout shown on the main screen. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and search for month of birth. Then you want to choose your rule, which will decide how the data will be defined. And lastly is your condition. If you put ask as the condition instead of presetting the condition, when you run the report, it will ask you every time what you want to filter on. So for example, it will ask me what birthday month I want to filter on. If you are using a condition based on a date, enter the following, which includes 4 digits for the year, 2 for the month, and 2 for the day. There are some exceptions for specific data fields, such as month of birth. As you add your conditions, just keep in mind if you want the condition to include "and," meaning the report must look at all conditions, or, which means that the report will look at either or condition. Then we have some special conditions at the bottom of the screen. You can save paper by using the skip line function. If you are printing a report with values, like R codes, and you only want specific members who have values in your selection, you can set a condition here. If a CHIT or T-time-based report include cache info, this flag is connected to the POS CHIT detail code J and T-time reservation system code T. When the flag is enabled, the report will include cache items. So for example, things that are not associated with a member number, like cache chits for guests. If a specific type of report, populate all columns. This flag is connected to the same CHIT and T-time codes. When flagged, it will repeat occurrences of the same value instead of having blank spaces. So for example, if a member came to the club 5 times, it would list his member number 5 times instead of just once with the 5 dates of attendance. Custom update allows you to take 2 columns from your report and directly put that information into 2 of your member custom fields. After making any changes, just make sure you click OK to save. Now some data codes allow you to enter a condition directly into the calculation line of the design screen. For example, if you choose the report code A80 for member status and enter the equal sign active, then the report will condition for the active members only. The Q10 minimum spent and Q11 minimum billed report codes will support a date range in the calculation line. For addresses, you can print report codes using the different member mailing addresses available in the member profile by using data codes E00 to E04. You can enter the following conditions. If left blank, the system assumes G for general. Note that you must use the same address type in the calculation field of each E column on your report. As you go through, or after you've completed all your settings, you can click the Preview button to view a preview of your report. From here, we can use the Security button to define who has what access to this report. If all users should have full access to the report, no changes need to be made. If you need to specify access, you can double-click on the full permissions access and modify those permissions. You can also add users and adjust permissions on a user-by-user basis. If you would like to view this report in the Report Finder, it must be published here by clicking Publish Design, where you can use the Publish to User F2 lookup list and select what users will see the report in the Report Finder. You can also include an image file, for example a screenshot of the report, and what you will learn when running this report. Once all applicable fields have been filled out, go ahead and click Publish. In the prompts, you can click Yes and OK. So we're just going to close out of here now. Now the report can be printed from two different areas. One area is by navigating over to Club Management, Reports, and Report Generator Print. Select your club, and then using the F2 lookup list, select the report that you would like to print, and click the Print button. If the report design contains specific data codes, you may be prompted for more information at printing time. Fields will be open depending on the report you are printing, and some reports may not prompt this window. Another option is to open the Report Finder from your toolbar. You can choose what type of reports you'd like to look by. The My Reports will contain reports that you have published or that have been published to your user account. Go ahead and expand the folders to locate your report. You can also use the search function to search for the name of your report. Reports can be launched directly from the screen by clicking the Launch button, and are subject to security permissions. This will bring us into a similar screen that we saw from the Report Gen print screen.